Hey, hello everyone. This is Naveen here. Welcome back to another video. This video is going to be a continuation of the MongoDB administration series which we are doing. And today we are going to see how to create collections, though we would have covered it in the previous sessions, but this is explicitly for creation of collections. Okay, it might be a short one, but let's see it in action, how to do it. Now let me switch my screen to my instance where MongoDB is installed. This is my server, okay, which we are going to use. Let me quickly check what is the list of databases I have. Maybe let me zoom this little bit. Okay, this should be fine. So let me create a new DB for this um, demo. Okay, since I'm from SQL background, so somehow uh, my mind told like create database name as the syntax to create the database. So let's create a new database in MongoDB. I'll just say let's name it MongoDB itself, and let's switch the DB. And so far, like whatever examples I've shown you in the past, like we used to create collection something like this. I'll say db dot collection, maybe I'll just say collect dot insert. So directly in fly we used to insert the data, right? So that is how we have done so far. But now let's see, let me, so this is one way of creating a collection, but you're not defining for doing this you have to insert a record. Okay, now let's see like what other options we have. How can I create a collection without inserting any data? Let's say I want to create a collection and keep it so that later my application is going to insert the data. Okay, so we have something called create collection. Okay, so one second. This is the command we have where we can define the collection name. So I'll just say my, or I'll just say new collection, new call. I'll just say if I give like this is going to create a collection for me. And here we haven't inserted any document yet on this. Wait. This collection is kind of empty. Now let's go ahead and just insert some documents just to see. It's still the same process. I'm just simply inserting some documents so that we'll have some data. I'll just go with my name. We'll just insert it. So I'll just keep few datas. Maybe later we'll come back to this in a while. Okay. So this is one way of creating. Okay. So in this so in MongoDB we have a special feature, or yeah, I would say it's a special feature because in RDBMS, any of the RDBMS, if you take SQL Server, Oracle, you don't have this option. Okay. So in MongoDB we have something special where you can define how much worth of data you're going to store. Let's say you want to store max 10 records, or I want to store only 1 GB worth of data. So that is something you can predefine it while creating the collection. So we call those types of collection as a capped collection. So capped is nothing but you are setting a limit by either it can go either with size or the number of rows. So size is something which is mandatory, but number of rows is number of rows is something optional. Okay, let's see how that can be done. The syntax would be more or less same. We will be just adding few more parameters. So now what I'm going to do is we are going to create this collection. I'll just say cap collection 1. We'll be creating multiple collections. Okay, I'll just name this as cap collection 1. And here you have to define like the other properties. Capped, I'll be setting it to true because this is going to be a capped collection, and then I'll just say size maybe 100 bytes. So this number whatever we mention here, it is in bytes. Okay, okay, I missed this parenthesis. So now we have got a new collection created, and cap call 1. So collection 1, this is the capped collection. Now what we have defined here is I can have my collection with size of like 100 bytes of documents stored. Okay, what does that mean is, let's try inserting some records. Let's say I insert some records. I'll go with a similar data format so that I don't have to think what should be typed. To keep things simple, I'll just go with this format itself. Now we have inserted 1, 2. I'll insert few more so that I can show you like what exactly is going to happen here. Let's try to read the data and see. Okay, good. So far like we see all the 4 rows, 4 documents, whatever we have inserted. Okay, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to insert 2 more records, 2 more documents. Now let's go and do the same thing. What you can see is like the very first and second document which was inserted in this collection is no longer present in our output. So we just see employee 3, 4, 5 and 6 with those values only. So what has happened is, like, since we have defined the size as 100 bytes, for 100 bytes for this column and value, this is the data which MongoDB is able to store. So that's why whatever record is older, when we are trying to insert a newer one, that gets removed. Now if I try to insert maybe 7, now if I query, we'll see 3 emp3 is removed. We just have 4, 5, 6, 7. Only 4 records or 4 documents it is able to support. So this is one scenario. Okay, now what we will do is, let's create another scenario. Okay, so I'll just say new collection. We'll go with same format, no, so that it will be easy. Cap collection 2, and I'll say capped is true. And now what I'm going to say is, again, like, size is something mandatory. Let's say if I remove size and hit enter, you will get an error message. The size field is required when capped is true. Okay, now let's set the size as, we'll go with some lower values so that we can actually see it, and the other value which is supported is, we'll set max. So this max is nothing but like what max number of rows is supported. Okay, so I can say like I want up to 10 rows, for example. So I can just define it here. Now what will happen is, let's say if any of this condition is met, it's going to like remove that document. Okay, now again, like if I try to insert, like you won't be seeing much difference because we have set the size to same, but let's quickly check that. So emp1, and we are doing the insert on cap collection 2. Okay, and here also mostly you will observe the same behavior. Maybe I'll just insert like about 5 rows so that you'll know the very first row is no longer part of this collection. let's do collection 2 and let's do a find. You can see this is something which we know it's going to happen. Okay, now what we are going to do is we're just going to slightly change it. So far, like the two examples what I showed you, it was hitting the size limit. Now let's increase the size limit. Maybe I'll say 1000, and let's restrict this to 2. For example, I just want only two documents in my collection, and it can go up to like 1000 bytes. Let's create this. Oops, so we already have this collection. Let's name it as 3. Okay, now let's try to insert some documents here, and we'll see how this one goes. I'll say 1 and name. I'll just go with my name. It is inserted. First record. See, again, like this, one more thing is like you won't be seeing any error when you're trying to insert, because it's not going to fail. It's going to remove the oldest record from this document and proceed with the insert. Let's query and see what we have. Now, though we have increased this size limit, since this condition is true in this scenario, now we are not seeing the employee ID 1 in our collection. We just see employee ID 2 and 3. Okay, so either this or this, if it is meeting, it's going to apply that and delete the older record so that new documents can be inserted. Okay, so this is one more scenario. So now you might be thinking, so this option looks good, but what if I have to convert a collection which was created without a capped option? So do I have an option to do that? Is there a way where I can convert a non-capped collection to a capped collection? If you have that question, yes, that is something which is possible. Let's quickly maybe try that as well. Let's see like what collections we have. Maybe I'll pick this one. Okay, in order to do that, okay, we have to call a different command, like which is db run command is something we have to call, and then we have to define few more parameters. Let's see, I'll say db run command, and let's say what is the operation I'm going to do is it's going to be convert to and capped. So be careful with this namings. It is all case sensitive, so if you are not giving it correctly, it's not going to work. And then we are going to define the collection. This is my collection, and then I'll define to what size I'm going to set this. Let's say 1000. Okay, that's all. Wait, there is a typo. Let's see. Oh, okay, it should be like this. Wait, I'm missing something. This is the syntax. Run command we have defined, and I've just told this and defined my collection name. Okay, my bad. Size should be defined like this. Okay, now we had a normal collection, and now we have converted that to a capped collection. Okay, now how do I know like if a given collection is a capped or a normal collection? So for that we have a separate command using which you can check. So let's say new collection is capped. If I hit this, it's going to tell me whether it's a capped collection or not. Maybe let's pick another collection what we see here, and let's try running. So this is not a capped collection, and this was also not a capped collection, we just converted it. This is one way of checking it. There is another command which is going to give you much more insights for any given collection. Okay, it's nothing but db.collectionname.stats. If we run this, this is going to give us huge amount of info. Let's go up to the top, and this is another place where you can see whether the given collection is capped or not. And in fact, like here you can see other values, like what is the max one set, what is the size set, all max size, max row count, all those things. Okay, maybe if we pick the other collection, right, I think it is cap collection 3, where we have set the size to 1000 and max is 2. Let's see how that data looks like. Let me go up. You can see here, right, max size, this is what we have set for this cap 3 collection. Okay, but this comes with few restrictions or limitations. For example, let's take one collection. Okay, maybe cap 3, and let's say like what data I have. For example, okay, if I have a requirement to update this value, okay, let's see whether it is going to allow or not. Cap collection 3, then I'll say find. Okay, we're not going to find, sorry, it's going to be update. And on what condition we are going to do update is, I'll just pick employee ID 3, and what we are going to set is something we'll define here. Let's say I want to update the name to maybe Naveen. Let's try this. Okay, so you see the message, it says cannot change the size of a document in a capped collection. So in capped collection, MongoDB is not going to allow you to change the size of a document. Okay, now if I try to maybe, so it's not going to allow you to add extra or reduce as well, because if you see the number of characters, obviously the existing document has Naveen Kumar. I'm just trying to set it as Naveen, which means it is of lesser size. So any change in size is basically not allowed. If I try something like this, in this case the number of characters are same, I'm just giving it in lowercase. Okay, now we are able to do the successful modification. It's not like I use the same characters. Let's say instead of I fill this space with some value, for example. Okay, still it will allow. So basically it's going to check the number of characters. It should not exceed or it should not be less. So that is one limitation or one important thing which you should be knowing. And another thing is, let's say if I want to add a new column, okay, I'll take the same example. Let's say I'm saying like instead of name, along with name, let's have F name or last name. Now if I try to add this operation is also not allowed. Okay, so we just have to keep in mind, like you cannot change the size of a given document when it is set to capped. Okay, so that's all, like we had it for today. So in next video we have a interesting option which is something like, again, this is not something available in any of the relational databases. So MongoDB has another feature, like whatever example we have seen today, it's based on the size and number of records. So you do also have an option where you can archive or delete data based on time. Let's say you want to keep 1 day worth of data or 5 minutes worth of data alone in the collection. That is something possible with MongoDB, and we'll see more about that in the next video. Okay, so that's all, guys. That's all for today, and I hope you liked it. Please do share your feedback in the comment section. Yeah, thank you.